Hello, I'm Brian Fitzgerald, the Golf Doctor, and today I'm going to talk to you about one of the biggest misconceptions and something that if you're trying to do it, it will definitely ruin your golf. And what is that? Trying to keep your head still. So I'm going to show you why it's not a good thing to keep your head still. Stay tuned. So if this is your first time to this channel, welcome. This channel is all about helping you play better golf. I've been a golf pro now for 33 years and I've been playing golf for 50 years. And in that 50-year period, one of the biggest misconceptions that I've certainly come across is the fact that we have to keep our head still when we play golf. And largely, that's not true. It's one of the worst things you can do. There are some circumstances where you do want to keep your head still, and I'll get to that later in the video. But initially, if you think about it, when we're trying to hit a golf ball, whenever we want power, we really want to get some movement in our upper body. Imagine if I had a ball, something like this. I'm going to throw the ball. Now, how far would I be able to throw this if I had to keep my head still? I'm really not going to be too successful. For me to throw this as far as I can, I need to step back to my right and I need to throw and I need to transfer my weight from my right side to my left side. And if I can do that, my head has to move. If I try and transfer weight, keeping my head still, I'm going to lose power. It just doesn't make sense. If we get back to something else that's fairly commonplace, with tennis racket, if I'm going to hit a forehand and I stay still, I can hit it, I'll have a reasonable amount of power, but for me to generate a lot more power, I really need to step in to the shot, and in stepping in, my head moves forward. So whenever we want to create power, we need to have a little bit of transference of the weight. So moving the head doesn't give you power by itself, it just gives you an assistance of power. So most of my power is coming from my hands, which then turns my body, so it's all contributing, and my head moving contributes to it. But it only adds to it, it doesn't give you the most amount of power. So if I have a driver in my hands, and I really want to try and hit with some power, it just doesn't make sense that I hit trying to keep my head still. In me trying to keep my head still, it's going to limit a lot of power that I can possibly generate. So it's quite okay to move, as long as we don't move too much. We certainly don't want to get to the point where we're moving that far, but somewhere between 6 to 12 inches is a pretty reasonable amount of movement. So I just get up here, take my setup, and I'm not thinking of moving my head. My right hand taking the club away and just my hands moving back to my side creates that movement that I need. When I come down, my hand throwing the club forward enables me to get through. So I think 6 to 12 inches, something like that, both sides, is a reasonable amount of movement. So we'll see how I go. So there's a reasonable shot, nice and straight, tiny bit of draw, but I created some power. So that's a time when we do want to create power. So when don't we want to create power? Well, if I'm hitting a little chip shot and I want control of power rather than power, well then I really don't want to move my head. I don't really want to transfer my weight. I'm keeping my weight here and I'm swinging and my head stays pretty still because I don't need to transfer weight. I don't need power, I just need control of power. I want to hit the ball a certain distance and it's quite short, so if I want to hit this about 10 metres through the air, I take my setup and my head doesn't move much. That's gone about 10 metres. Another time when we don't want power, of course, is when we putt. So if I start moving my head all over the place when I putt, that's going to create more problems than it's worth. I don't need power when I putt. I want control of my distance. So when we putt, we definitely want to keep our head pretty still. So as I stand here and stroke that putter, you can see the head staying pretty still, my hands, arms, shoulders, and they're just moving. So anytime we want power, it's quite okay to get that. So one of the ways I would suggest you can improve this weight transference, there's a couple of things. One is when you swing back, lift your left foot off the ground, and when you swing down, lift your right foot off the ground. Don't hit balls with it. It's just a little bit of a feeling. So rocking from side to side, do it slowly, like that, helps to give you the feeling of what it's like. And then of course the other way I recommend is the stepping drill. So we just set up with the club directly behind the ball by about 12 inches. I put my feet together, I take the club back, and then I step and hit. You don't have to do it too hard at first. You can do it quite gently. So we take it back, step, and then you hit the shot. And it really does encourage that movement through the shot. So I hope that qualifies when you need to move your head and when you don't need to move your head. But in general, when you're trying to create some power, you need to move your head in order to help create that power. Thank you for letting me help you with your golf. I'm Brian Fitzgerald, the Golf Doctor. And if you like my videos, you can click on the golf ball down the bottom there. You can get further information on my Facebook page or my Twitter feed. You can also sign up to my electronic newsletter or listen to any of my podcasts at thegolfdoctor.com.au.